In this video, I'm gonna show you how I went from struggling to come up with Instagram Reels to suddenly having over 100 pieces of content in less than 10 minutes for my milk tea business. And nope, I am not using ChatGPT or Claude AI. I am using something that's even better, faster, and more accurate with way less revisions. So if you are someone who is struggling to get content that actually generates results such as sales for your business, then keep on watching because I'm gonna break down my entire content strategy. Now, the first step to any great content creation, regardless of what type of business you have, is coming up with content ideas. And I do this in a few ways. The first one is looking at my Instagram Explore feed, and a hot tip that I have for you is to keep your algorithm clean. What I mean by this is I will never use my personal Instagram account to look for content ideas, and instead, I will do that exclusively on my brand account. And I specifically will only interact, watch, and engage with content that I would want to create myself. This ensures that my Explore feed and all of the ideas that are coming through are related to my niche. Now, for some reason, if you're watching this video and you don't even have a physical product business, but you're just interested in some content tips, well, that's a content tip for you. Create a separate account to engage with your competitors, to engage with content that you specifically want to create. And that way you can leave your personal Instagram for yourself. Because as humans, we naturally have different interests. And so by having that separate account, you're able to have a really niche down algorithm to work with. Now, luckily, because I have a very specific algorithm for content creation, as I'm on the go throughout the day, sometimes I will go into my brand account and look at content ideas. And what I'll do is I'll save the link to all the videos that I'm interested in recreating. I will open up the Notion app and I'll simply put my content ideas in my Notion dashboard that I created for Superboba. And speaking of Notion, they are the sponsor of today's video, and I'm so glad that they are because I have used Notion for years for my creator business, and I'm still using them for a physical product business as well. But beyond that, I not only use Notion to organize my content now, I use Notion to come up with content ideas. So let me explain. So if you go into Notion and you look at the bottom right-hand corner, you're gonna see a button for Notion AI. And what's beautiful about Notion AI is it's very similar to ChatGPT or Claude AI, which takes all the information from the internet to help you solve your biggest problems. But Notion AI also collects all the information that you've ever put inside Notion. So this could be all the content ideas that you've had in the past, the scripts that you've put in, the projects that you have, the SOPs that you've put in, every single thing that you can think of that you put in Notion, Notion AI will have access to that. And so that's really helpful when it comes to creating content that's as close as possible to your brand voice. And so let me give you an example. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Notion to help me come up with content ideas for Superboba, but specifically I'm going to ask Notion to apply the framework that I used to use for my creator business, which is following content based on the customer journey funnel. Now, if you're not familiar with the customer journey funnel, it basically is all the stages of awareness that someone goes through before they purchase your product. This is a framework that I used to teach my mastermind clients, so I'm gonna walk you through it. But before I do that, this is the prompt that I'm giving to Notion AI. Can you give me 10 content ideas for each section of the awareness funnel for Superboba, my milk tea business? This will be all for Instagram Reels and needs to be less than 60 seconds. Here's the customer journey framework. So the first step is unawareness. This is when someone doesn't even know about your product. So your job in your content is to show them that they have a problem they need solving. And a lot of times I think about content that is foundational. So for example, with my milk tea business, for someone who's unaware that we even exist, they might not even be aware that tea is an option for them rather than drinking coffee. So I would want to do foundational content, teaching and educating people about why people should drink tea or the ingredients that we're using in our teas. The next type of content that's great to create under the awareness phase is highlighting myths or mistakes. So myths about health that people aren't aware of. For me, I want to educate people that tea is actually a better alternative to coffee, which would then eventually lead them to Superboba. Another thing is mistakes. So maybe mistakes that people might be making in their wellness or health routine. So I'm just feeding Notion AI an example so that it can give me better results. The next stage in the customer journey funnel is awareness. So if your content is already doing a really great job at highlighting some of the problems that someone might not be aware that they have, the next stage is to present them a possible solution. And so under the awareness phase, I typically like to create content that is more about my personal story or journey. So for example, my own routines in my health that have helped me level up, or how-to content, so how to make drinks at home or how to drink tea properly or all these different things. And then finally calling out symptoms. So for example, here are 3 signs that you should ditch coffee, or here are the reasons why you should switch from coffee to tea. The next stage in the awareness funnel is consideration. So if your content does a good job at highlighting possible solutions, now this person is likely thinking of, should I buy Superboba or should I buy this other brand? Now they know what the solution could be. They They just want to pick the brand and the company that they want to buy from. And so under the consideration stage, I will likely think about what can I do to prove to people that Superboba is the right choice for them. And that would include creating content about our unique advantage. And in our case for Superboba, it's our unique flavors and also our ingredients. So technically a customer could pick any tea that they want, but they should choose Superboba because it's got functional ingredients like lion's mane, reishi, maca, and superfood ingredients like date powder. Not only this, our flavors are bomb.com. So for example, someone could choose another brand that offers similar things, but maybe their flavors are more like pumpkin spice latte or London fog. Whereas with Superboba, you're getting roasted oolong, classic milk tea. You're getting a lot of the Asian inspired flavors that typically is harder to find unless you're going to a bubble tea shop. Another part of consideration is maybe showing behind the scenes. And that's where our Behind the Boba series that we do on Instagram comes in. I really want people to fall in love with me and Leon as founders, our journey, our come up story of how we're building Superboba, because that could be another reason why someone might choose our brand over another brand that's not sharing a lot of the founder and brand story. The last stage of the awareness cycle is making a decision. Now this person is thinking about buying your product, but there might be things that are holding them back, like price or not being sure if it's going to work for them. This is where you really want to go heavy on the social proof, testimonials, FAQ, so really talking and highlighting the objections. Maybe someone is concerned about the shipping cost, or maybe they're not sure about what discounts and coupons or promotions there are. So this is the type of content that you might want to create for this stage of the awareness cycle. And so basically, this is the exact same framework that I used to use for my personal brand business and also when I used to sell courses. And so I'm basically applying it to the physical product space and I'm feeding it to Notion AI, because with AI, a lot of times, the better your prompt, the better your results. So let's see what Notion AI comes up with. We're going to hit enter. And then you'll notice that Notion AI starts thinking, and then it starts looking at every single document that you've ever put inside Notion. So as you can see, it's thinking about all the different pages that exist in our Superboba dashboard. That's not just about content. It's also all of our meetings, our strategy, everything like that. And it's using that to come up with content. Now I'm going to expand this page. And now you can see all of the 10 content ideas per stage that Notion AI has come up with. And just from glancing at it, it's pretty good. So really quickly, let's look at what Notion AI came up with. Under the unawareness phase, it's really about showing people that they have a problem. And Notion AI has suggested that maybe we show how regular coffee leads to energy crashes. Ooh, sugar content in popular drinks. That's something I didn't really think of. Tea myths debunked, morning routine red flags, that's such a good one. So as you can see, it's pretty good. Now the next stage is awareness. Once someone is kind of aware that they have a problem they want to solve, they start looking for solutions. So this is where we give quick win solutions to plant this seed. So for example, morning reset routine, how to beat afternoon crashes, how to upgrade your energy from stressed to blessed. So 30-second story about adaptogens. So that's really cool. Now the thing with this one though is 30-second story about adaptogens. You're assuming that someone already knows what an adaptogen is. So what I would do is before I introduce this piece of content, I would probably do some content beforehand about what are adaptogens to begin with. And that's kind of how my brain works when it comes to making content, especially if you are selling a product or service. Now, for me, in my creator business, I've talked a lot about not having a niche and being free as an artist, and I talked about it in this video right here. But when it comes to actually selling a product, you want to also think about how you're going to get someone to purchase that product. And this is a really helpful framework to put yourself through. And it's not only a lot easier for physical product businesses, but it's also a lot more necessary for physical product businesses. Next stage is consideration, why people should choose Superboba over the competitor. And it's really talking about our grinding process, how we met our tea farmers, our tea sourcing journey, the research and development highlights that we've gone through. And finally, the decision is about closing the sale. So really talking about the early bird specials, last chance alerts, customer transformations, reviews. So this is all excellent content that Notion AI came up with, and I'm really impressed by how accurate it is. There's nothing that I would change with this, but maybe the only thing that I would change is asking for more than 10 content ideas, because these are all really good. Now that we have a handful of content ideas, the next step is to really shortlist the ones I want to create right now and also work with Notion AI on making the scripts. Now, a little thing that you can do is if you click these 3 buttons right here, you can actually chat in full page. So that way it's not just this little chat box at the bottom. Now, luckily Notion AI saved the page with all the ideas that it came up with. So I'm just gonna click on it, and luckily it shows on the side panel. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start highlighting the ones that I really like. I really like the content idea, the truth about your daily coffee jitters, for this topic. Oh, it even has shooting notes. Okay, let's take a look at this together. So it's got the first scene. It tells me the seconds that it should take me to do. It's got what I need to look like in the shot, which is great. It's got the voiceover. This is really excellent. So it's basically giving notes on how to even edit the video as well. What I also really like is it's got the shooting notes as well with some tips. So this is really great if you're new to creating content, or maybe you just want some ideas of what the vibe of the video is gonna be like. And what I also like is, I don't think I mentioned anything about the goal of being our pre-orders, but because Notion AI understands that that's kind of the phase that we're at right now in our business, because it has access to all of our databases inside Notion where we talk about our pre-orders and the calendar and all of that, I have a feeling it took that information and put it in the script as well. So this is actually game changing. I might just cancel my ChatGPT subscription for this. Oh my gosh, I just noticed that it also adds a music suggestion. It's game over. It's game over. If you're using Notion already to organize your content and your life and your projects, I actually really do think that Notion AI is worth the upgrade. This is awesome. Now, there's something I noticed with one of the scripts that Notion AI worked on, and that is this one, which is why most people get tea wrong. And as I was reading the script, I realized that they're talking about whole tea leaf or tea bags like this, but for Superboba, it's more of a milk tea. It's a different application. So I'm gonna get Notion AI to correct this one. So what I asked Notion AI to do is modify the script so it relates back to milk teas, which is the application of Superboba, and it's rewriting it right now. Okay, I just reviewed it and it's perfect. So basically it changed this original script, which was more about teas, to milk teas, and it's talking about using the wrong temperature, having good tea quality, and also how to prepare it by blending it properly. This is exactly what I would have wanted, so this is perfect. And so now what I'll do is I will move it over to my content queue. Now, just so you guys know, the easiest way to migrate these scripts or these ideas that Notion AI is giving you over to your content dashboard or whatever dashboard you're using for Notion is simply clicking save and then saving it to where you want. So in my case, it's gonna be my content queue dashboard or page, and then I'm gonna click that. And what you'll notice is over here, all of that is being saved in that specific page. The next step that I have to do is put it in the appropriate database. So that is as simple as opening up my database and then dragging the page into the database itself, just like that. Really quickly, I'm gonna change the status to scripting because there's still a few things that I might wanna change, but ultimately this is amazing because with Notion AI, I did not have to leave Notion. Everything was under one tab. I didn't have a million tabs open, and it's all integrated. Another cool thing that I just noticed with how Notion AI does the scripts for me is it will also include the props that I need to execute this video. So that is insane. So for example, this one is really highlighting the sugar bombs that are in your drink. And it's suggesting that when I tell people how much sugar is in bubble tea or sweetened coffee or lattes or all these things, that I actually have the sugar cubes. And that's an idea that I wouldn't have even thought of. So that is another pro to using Notion AI, which I, by the way, am mind blown. Now, aside from being your content collaborator, Notion AI can also be your personal assistant. So here's an example. I'm gonna ask Notion AI whether my video editor, Jonas, is finished editing one of the videos that I've been waiting for. What Notion AI is gonna do is it's gonna look through all the databases, all of the project management tools that we use, and then it's gonna tell me whether or not Jonas is done the video or not. Now, based on what Notion AI collected is that, nope, Jonas is currently still editing and he hasn't finished the episode yet, but he has finished episode 14 and 13. Now, this is great because instead of me reaching out to Jonas or me even going into our project management databases, I can just ask Notion AI. And one of the things that you can also do with Notion AI is integrate it with Google Drive and Slack. So that way it's collecting information from those areas as well to give you the most accurate information when it comes to your project projects and also coming up with content for you. Now, if you've known me for a long time, you'll know that Notion has been game-changing for me as a creator and entrepreneur, but even more so now, especially with Notion AI, specifically because I run not just one, but 2 businesses. So if you are looking to get more organized this year, create better content, and be more efficient, then click the link in my description box to try out Notion for free. And definitely do not skip out on the Notion AI feature. The link to try out Notion will be in my description box and in my comment section below. Now let's walk through my content database. So this is our Superboba content database where I have a section for all of my ideas. These are all the things that I've just put on the go into my Notion dashboard as I'm on Instagram or TikTok or anywhere else. And how it's organized is it's filtered based on whether the status is under idea. My next section is scripting. This is where I will look through my ideas, and if I'm really interested in moving forward with one of them, I will just change it to ready to script or scripting. And then what ends up happening is it'll automatically go into this section where it's all the videos that are either ready to script or I'm currently working on in terms of the script. Once I'm done scripting, the next thing is to change the status to ready to film or filming. And once I do that, it'll automatically show up in this next section, which is all the videos that I need to film. Once I'm done filming the video, the next step is to change the status to briefing in progress, which basically means that before I give it to my video editor, I'm working on briefing it so that the editor knows what to work on. And once I'm done briefing the video, I will then put it as ready to edit. What ends up happening is it goes into this next section, which is editing, and you'll see all the videos that are in queue, whether they are currently being edited by my video editor or they are ready to edit, which means that I'm done briefing it, it's ready to go, and my video editor maybe hasn't worked on it quite yet. Depending on who is editing the video, it will also be assigned by person. So for example, there are some videos that I want my video editor to do because it is beyond my capabilities, and then there are other videos that are easier, or maybe they're carousel posts or very simple that I'm gonna edit myself over on Instagram, Descript, or CapCut. And finally, when something is approved, we will then move it to ready to post. Now, I've got other filters here as well. So for example, the content type, I usually split it by entertainment, maybe relatable or behind the scenes, promotional, educational, or our series, which is behind the boba. And the reason why I do this is because if you look over on my calendar, I'm able to easily see whether or not we have a good blend of each type of content. For example, in a single week, maybe I'll have a promotional post, and then I'll also have an entertainment post, a behind the boba, which is our series, something that's more conversational or relatable, and then something that's educational that's actually about our product and teaching people how to use the product or our product ingredients. I find that this to be a really effective way to making sure that you have a balanced approach in your content strategy, especially for a product-based business. Now, the reason why I set it up like this is I think it's a lot cleaner to have it in specific sections. That way, when I know I'm about to film a video, all I have to do is just open up the to film toggle, and then I see a whole list of things that I need to film in that moment. Or let's say if I'm sitting down scripting, I can then just open up the scripting portion on its own. To me, it just reduces a lot of overwhelm because I noticed for a physical product business, there are way more content pieces than a personal brand-based business for some reason. Now you might be wondering, how do I plan out my content schedule? Well, how I set up my Notion dashboard for Superboba is over on this screen on the left-hand side, I have a whole section that says needs to be scheduled. It's basically the same database that held all of my content ideas, except there's a filter. So it only shows content pieces that are already scripted. This ensures that I don't see content that is in the ideation stage or isn't ready to be filmed at all. Now, it not only shows content pieces that are already scripted, but it also shows the content pieces where the upload date is empty. This means that that particular piece of content hasn't been added to the calendar yet. So as a result, on the left-hand side, I'll see all of my content pieces that still have yet to be scheduled and is either being edited, ready to post, being filmed, or ready to film. Again, meaning that it already has a script that's approved. And then as you can see on the right-hand side, I have the actual calendar. And so what I'll do is I'll go into the month where I haven't planned my upload schedule yet. And then what I'll simply do is for each content piece, I will then drag it into the calendar and put it into the appropriate slot, just like this. What I'm also doing is being mindful of the content type, like I mentioned before in this video, and making sure that there is a good balance. The cool thing is, once you've dragged in a content piece into the calendar, if you open it, it will already assign that specific upload date. It's also really easy to move things around if you're not necessarily happy with the content schedule. And it's also easy to put things back into the left-hand side if you want to quote unquote unschedule it. This Notion setup has been so helpful for my physical product business because there's just so much more content that I create on my Superboba page, but I've also applied the same format to my personal brand business as well because it's been so useful. Now, if you'd like a copy of my content dashboard, whether it's for my personal brand or for my physical product business, then make sure you click the link in my description box below. Now, once I've planned and organized all of my content, the next natural step is to film the Instagram Reels. So if you'd like a part 2 where I show all the equipment I use, how I film, and how I edit my Reels, then make sure you like this video and leave a comment below to let me know. And if you'd like to check out Notion AI, which as you've seen in this video has been a way better content collaborator than ChatGPT and Claude AI for me personally, then click the link in my description box or in my pinned comment. As always, guys, I appreciate you, and if you'd like to learn even more about my content process, then I will see you in this video next. Bye guys, and take care.